This episode may induce seizures. This episode of Hannibal was crazy phenomenal. Will Graham at his river fly fishing, and he's there with Abigail Hobbs, and he's showing her how to tie a knot. And the whole time I was just sitting there thinking like, something bad's gonna happen. It's so bad. And he kind of hinted about how the only way to catch a fish is if the person that you cherish the most is also thinking of you. I was just thinking like, is she gonna catch the fish? Beverly comes to Will and she starts talking about, she's putting all these clues together, clever details. Will Graham goes out and says it, hey, Hannibal is probably the Chesapeake Ripper, and I think it backfired on her that she's so reluctant to believe Will. The thing that kind of sets it for Will was the fact that somebody stitched the killer, this guy James Gray, into the mural. It's gotta be Hannibal. Who else would respect the beauty of a people mural? Will Graham has this conversation with Dr. Chilton. He brings three possibilities to the table. One, he's a manipulative psychopath. Two, he is delusional. Or three, Hannibal is the killer. Dr. Chilton takes him up on this and he decides that he is going to do some narco analysis on Will Graham. He's going to conduct an interview while Will Graham is hyped up on truth serum. We see what happened to Will Graham. It all starts coming together. So Hannibal was inducing seizures to Will Graham. Will Graham was having these blackouts and he was doing it. It seemed like he was doing it on a regular basis, kind of to get his mind prepared for it, because remember, Will Graham had encephalitis. Dr. Chilton is kind of like, oh my god, this kind of could make sense. Will Graham may be telling the truth. He may be a little crazy himself, but I don't think he's that stupid to believe that Will Graham would be the actual killer. And so he kind of tells Hannibal to back off a little bit. He's like, hey, we should stick together. We're both crazy people. And that was my weird accent that I was trying to do of him. Chilton kind of taunts Hannibal a little bit in this episode, but at the end it kind of made sense for them to kind of stick together. Beverly taunted Hannibal. I don't know what her deal was. I mean, she flat out went to Hannibal and said, hey, I want to consult with you on this people mural, and Hannibal sees right through her. He's smarter than her. At this point, I mean, she should know that by now. She's being extremely bold and she should not be, especially not with someone who is such an egotistical bastard. She says to him that, well, at least he's not saying that you're the killer anymore. And he's like, well, at least not to me. And he was quick about it. Hannibal is the guy who stitched James Gray into his mural. She's trying to see if she can see. So she's super duper eyeing him like a hawk, like just doesn't even make it less obvious. She's right there. She's dead, maybe. She was stupid enough to go to Hannibal's house, and I really like her character, and I was just hoping that she would tell someone before she went down there. She found Hannibal's dungeon. The episode ended on that note, and it was cray cray. There's two things in this episode that are really happening. There's the idea, the theme, that the characters can have a pain-free, peaceful death, and then there's also the actual murder in the episode, which is the bee lady who kills her victims by removing their eyes. One of them, she turned him into a head full of bees and she left him somewhere in a park. The other murder that we got to see from this crazy bee lady was the guy who she had on the table, who she lobotomized. She was kind of like, well, now they're pain-free. It's the first time I've ever seen this guy walk without feeling pain, because he has arthritis. Jack Crawford's wife, Bella, overdosed on morphine, and Hannibal is not gonna let that happen. And I don't think he did it because he was empathetic, because he wanted to take care of her or anything. He did it because he's and he wanted to control all the circumstances surrounding her death or even anything that was happening. And also it would look really bad if she just walked into his house and killed herself and like, oh yeah, Jack Crawford, aren't you a doctor? He would ask, and he would be like, yeah. It goes back to the theme of being pain-free. There's that correlation between this bee lady who sees that and also Bella. And she's alive now. She's really upset at Hannibal. That's it for today. Keep on watching, subscribe, and I'll see you later.